Guess I play semi-pro, right?
No, man, you worse. You Sunday league.
No! Elon heard me. We're keeping all this in.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's do it.
Here we go, baby. Let's roll. We're back.
There we go. All right. Well, Cale's shooting fireworks. Hello and welcome to Sunday League Podcast.
Too soon, Casey?
Your home for all things MLB and Fantasy Baseball. Today we got a good one for you. We're going to jump into some buy sells for fantasy this year. Go through what we think the deepest and weakest positions are. But we're going to start out. We got a little story time.
Okay.
Casey
We're
just
supposed
had
to
a
be
dramatic
recording.
experience. We're going to
See what
share a
happened
little
with
bit. Yeah, a little bit of a thumbs down. No fireworks here. Well,
Sheesh.
anyways, Casey, why don't you tell us what just happened when we first tried to record?
Yeah, so we were supposed to record this about an hour and a half ago or so. Literally, as soon as we were about to hit record, my wife comes in and is like, "Oh my gosh,
I gotta go.
stumbling over the dog, all this kind of stuff.
The dog okay?
Stumbling into the house. Dog's okay, but poor thing, she went outside. She was trying to pee, and anyways, I'll get.
She's
into
trying
that
to be Lassie.
But, so she's like, your dad's truck is on fire. Your dad's truck is on fire, and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I get it.
It's a good truck. I get it, man.
Fire truck. It's fire. So I poked my head out the window, and I was like, dang, that's some smoke. And I looked a little bit more. I said, that's some dark smoke. Like, okay. And so I grabbed the fire hydrant, and the fire hydrant in the house is
Extinguisher.
maybe, yeah,
Life size.
yeah, fire extinguisher.
Fire
Thank you. Yeah, got it at Baby Gap.
Eat on that thing.
Like this big. Ran out there, and the whole front of the truck is just engulfed in flames.
Jeez.
I'm like, holy shiitake, like, what am I supposed to do here? So, I pulled the pin and that's it, and the whole thing is still engulfed.
Got the gas pedal.
Yeah, got the gas pedal, maybe the steering wheel, who knows? And I was like, holy crap. And so by this time, my dad's running out. He grabs 2 other fire extinguishers. They don't do it enough.
What a man. That man has 2 fire extinguishers.
So we're down 3 fire extinguishers. There's still fire. Still fire going on, and we have to try and lift up the hood because the
Air it out.
The fire is literally engulfed in the engine, and we can't really spray enough because it's still underneath. At this point, the fire's getting into the bed or into the cab of the truck, all this kind of stuff. And where we park the vehicles, it's underneath a wooden frame, so if that catches on fire,
You're done.
there goes that. There's trees all around the house. There's leaves all over the ground. I'm just thinking the worst, I'm over here with my pea shooter, trying to put out fire, thinking this thing's about to blow up in my face. And anyways, we were able to get the fire trucks there and everything like that. And poor thing, the truck's burnt to a crisp.
It's done.
But
gone.
I asked him. I said, like, you want me to call the tow truck, and everything. He's like, tow truck. Looks at me dead.
Got 50,000 miles on it.
And he goes, we're fixing this dang thing. What you talking about? I said, and I kid you not. I mean, if you look in there, there's nothing in there. It's just straight black. Like, there's barely an engine left. And he's like, we're fixing this. He said, we can fix this thing. I said, we?
Dude, great.
Right now.
Anyway, so yeah, we're about to have a fire episode.
Yeah,
that's all
back.
I got to say.
Heard
We're
that.
back.
I hope it's a good sign. Cale's trying to shoot fireworks. There they go. There they go. We don't know where they're coming from. But
He is Elon Musk.
Yeah. I am AI.
oh my gosh. Well, other boys, anything fun going on in you guys' lives? Just give the crowd a little update.
All right, I gotta give a little shout back to Casey. So Casey got his club screw grip. First story, he goes up to the front desk and he goes, "Can I get these regrip?" And the guy looks at him like, "Why?" He goes, "I need new grips." You're going to spend more
They're
money.
pink, so they're pink eyes, you know.
Iconic
They're
clubs.
from the 90s. Yeah, iconic clubs. You know, they're hand-me-downs from my grandfather. My grandfather won tournaments with them, handed them to my dad. My dad, he don't really play anymore, so I'm like, why go get a $800 set of clubs when I can use these iconic clubs? They work perfect for me, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah. Go ahead, Cale. I was just looking for some new grips because they still had the original grips.
Yep.
If I was playing in the rain or something, the club's going farther than the ball because that thing is slipping out of my hand, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go get me some new grips. I'm gonna look stylish on the course, especially for our golf trip coming up. And yeah, this man, he didn't even have 2 front teeth. So I wanted to say, you know what? You're talking about my clubs. How about we talk about your teeth? You know. I'll go get new clubs when you go get new teeth, you know? Anyways, but I went to Dick's. To Dick's, got a dick. So, I mean, what can I say?
then he goes, you're going to spend more on the grips than the clubs are worth. And long story short, he chooses the Align grips. They have a line on the back of them. This morning, I'm watching church with my father, and he goes, dude, I think this man messed up my grips. I think you put them on backwards. Shouldn't the line be on the front, or am I tripping? They go on the back so you can line your fingers. And it made me laugh so hard. Dad thought I was like throwing up. Oh, it was just a perfect story. But hey, I'm sure they'll look good, Casey.
Yeah, hey, they look crispy. They do. But yeah, looking forward to it. Anyways,
James?
But
anything else? James,
anything for me, normal week for me, just know that getting close to the season, I'm doing mock drafts on the daily, taking my notes, and I'm going to be ready for that draft.
Did you choose a color? Tan or charcoal gray?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay, so I went to Men's Warehouse today. I get married in May. I did choose charcoal gray. Tan is out of the question, so I think I'm going to do...
This is the greatest thing I've ever found out.
I think I'm going to have like a design on it, and I think you guys are going to be playing gray. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good.
It's a safe space.
Yeah.
I am also getting my golf clubs redone because I also inherited my grandfather's golf clubs. However, my grandfather was a solid 5'9", and I'm a solid 6'2".
Well,
so for me to play with them, I was bent over, squatted down, looking very uncomfortable trying to play. So my clubs are in the shop. Can't really practice right now. So Casey's getting an upper hand on me for our draft weekend tournament.
I'm bringing my blades just to make it even.
It's all right, though. I've got my putter and my putting green in this room, literally right next to me. So
that's all you need.
Working on the short game. Going to beat them there.
Diligent in my life.
Hey, got to make the tour somehow.
Which tour?
Live. I don't know. We'll see.
That's not the answer I was looking for.
Anyways, that's kind of the update here. Want to jump on in to some positional rankings. We're not going to go through each position today. We're going to do like an infield position episode, outfield episode, pitcher episode, and we'll go through and kind of rank each position during those. But we kind of wanted to talk about like what positions, and this is for fantasy baseball primarily, what positions are the deepest that you can wait in your drafts to go get one of the guys, because a lot of them are going to be similar to your guys that you could sell out and go get a higher pick from one of the shallower.
Or the opposite. Or you could go get the top guys and have a strong position.
That's true. But I'm saying...
I know what you're saying. I'm just adding another 15 seconds.
Draft.
But, yeah. So, I think strongest position, what are we thinking, guys?
Starting pitcher.
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to say first base, but then it didn't hit me.
First base is
starting
pitches is deep.
Starting pitching, just because there's always, and I just look back. I know we're going to be an 8-man league this year, but looking back in the past few 6-year leagues that we've been in, there's always been like 1 or 2 guys that go undrafted that end up being like a top 10, top 15 pitcher every year.
Yep.
And I think that's just is going to do the same thing, even though we're in an eight-man league. I think we're going to see the same thing, that there's going to be somebody that kind of flies under the radar, and somebody's going to get lucky with a waiver wire pickup and ride them throughout the whole year.
It'll be me.
Happens every year.
I'm sorry, Seth.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's obviously, with starting pitching, I think it's the least gap from the top tier guys to the next tier.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, your top tier, you got Strider, Cole, Burns, and then there's a little bit of a drop, but it's not much.
Okay.
And then you got your Yamamotos, those.
And you
those
got,
guys that are going to come and be good.
The 5 pickups that you can use for those slots too, because typically you're going to pick up a pitcher. So
right.
I thought it was 8 pickups.
Yeah. So with if you're playing with streamers,
okay.
Yeah, if you're playing with streamers, you're going to have pretty good luck. I mean, if we're looking, the 50th guy on Yahoo listed as Yu Darvish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a bad pick.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have a backup here this year. Come back here.
But
shout out Kim Kardashian.
So I mean, I think starting pitching is one of the deepest mid-tier positions that if you had 5 of these guys, you'll be all right.
You'll be solid.
So I agree.
Especially for the like you said, the 6-man leagues and stuff like that. Once you get to 10,
yeah, especially if you're in a shallow league.
Yeah, 10
if you're in a 15-man league, God bless you.
Yeah,
but
still
going to have some good
50 friends.
We can never.
That's the main thing.
We can barely keep 4.
Literally.
Oh, all right. So
the next has got to be first base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Agree. Yeah. First base is.
Say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
and now, obviously, we also want to make this known too. We play without a catcher in this league.
This year.
But
this year to start.
This year.
This will be the first year.
It's going to be this league. Sorry.
Sorry, just threw up a little bit.
So no catchers this year, unless you can by all means draft a catcher.
Yeah.
We removed the catcher slot and we added another utility.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't really be going into the catcher position, so to speak, as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Cale. Just want to make that a point.
No, what I was going to say is because I mean, and this is all strictly off our league because like 8 people. I mean, there's 8. Because who's the 8th? Well, I'll say. I mean, you can get Vinny Pasquantino, who can have a great year this year. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
As far as MLBs.
Fantasy's or Yahoo's number 8 is Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, and he's top 5 for me. So.
I agree.
They do have Nolan Jones at 5, but there's a few guys here that have multiple eligibilities.
Yeah,
like,
it's like Cody Bellinger. Is he a first baseman or outfielder?
He's more versatile.
Spencer Steer. That's also another thing with first base is you get a lot of guys who their rest days or they're going to play first base.
Yeah.
Real quick side note: how do y'all feel about that?
What?
Kind of just put anybody on first base sometimes. Because as a first baseman, because I was lefty and I was fat, so what else am I going to play? Center field? No. I pitched and played first base. I think first base is a huge skill and like a huge advantage to have. Because I watched actually an interview with Cody Bellinger, and he said the reason he's so good is because he hit a huge growth spurt in high school, and he really couldn't run that well. He looked like a baby deer in the outfield, so they put him at first base. That's where he learned how to like have soft hands and everything. Now that he's grown into his body, he's an athlete, so he can go play Gold Glove center field. But he's still got those. Like I think a first baseman is a huge because I mean in the MLB a lot of times the infielder's going to make a good throw, but when you rush or not, you're not always going to have a good throw. So you're safe. I mean, what's the stat?
Defensive run saved.
Defensive run saved. I think first baseman should be the leaders every year.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, I'm biased. I know that, but because of course shortstop gets the most balls. It's just a bias thing. Because if the shortstop makes a bad throw and the first baseman misses it, that's an error on the shortstop. But if he misses it, if he catches it, nothing. I mean, it's like a top 10 web gem for the shortstop.
Yeah.
Sorry. First base, I think first base is pretty deep, I think.
No,
but deep. I also find, and I think kind of to your point, Cale, we're seeing a lot of players these days kind of having that multi-position aspect for them. Like you said, the athletes, we see it out first base / outfielder, or we see a first base and third base, kind of person like that. So when you look at it that way, If it was just first base only, it might be a little bit slimmer. But because we have the ability to kind of move people around, all that kind of stuff. Multiple guys can play multiple positions. All they need is, I think, 5 starts at that one position to be eligible for it. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty deep as well.
Just go back to Moneyball and what Warren Washington said. Tell him, Wash, it's not that hard to play first base.
It's incredibly hard. Do you want my take on your question, Cale, or no?
What was my question? Forgot.
The sticking anybody at first base.
Yeah, sure.
My humble opinion, as a person who grew up playing all infield positions and then moved to first base in college. Okay, come on. I think as long as you're athletic and can catch a ball, you could play first base. You could play. But being good, like being a top tier first baseman, is incredibly hard. But I think that's why Harper was able to pick it up because he's a freak athlete.
A good example would be Harper.
Super skilled.
Oh, you can learn how to have soft hands. I mean, because honestly, if you're in the MLB, you have soft hands.
You're a
But I've always said catchers are easily transitioned to first base because it's almost the same. Like you're blocking the ball, but different. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I agree with that.
Anyways, next up we've got number 3.
Tough.
What do you guys think?
James, what you got? What's your take?
I think just because of how many we have, I mean, it is slim. I mean, because I think shortstop and second base are slim. Third base is that's hit or miss. But since we have 3 outfield spots, I mean, outfield's slim on itself, but there's more choices, I would say. Because I say second and short being slim, third base being kind of deeper. Right. But I mean, outfield, there's not like a position for left field, center field, or right field. So you got 3 choices.
Yeah, you can have 3 center fielders.
Exactly. So you can go anywhere you want. I mean, yes, I agree. Outfield is shallow this year, but there is suspect people you can grab late in rounds to where it's not.
Yeah. So you think outfield's number 3?
I take outfield number 3. Yes. Outfield or third.
What's the rest of you thinking?
I say third.
Huh?
Yeah, I would go third, but I think outfield, there's just, when we were looking at the pitchers, for example, there's a very slim margin between like the top dogs, next level and stuff. With outfield, if you don't get like, your Judges, your
Tatis, Soto,
Acuna, Soto, your next level is really Randy Rosarina.
And Adolis.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a big Randy fan. Maybe not in fantasy, just because he's so hit or miss. He goes through big spells, big slumps, all that kind of stuff. Then he gets really hot. There's just a big margin to me. That's why I think outfield is so slim. Yeah, there's a lot of good options.
No,
but is it, to me, when I look at, if we're ranking the positions, how many people can I really truly look at that I can say, I can count on every single day? They're going to give me 5 points a day, at least. Whereas with some guys in the outfield, besides those few guys, you either go straight power, like your Jorge Solers, Marcell Ozunas, more of like your utility guys, or maybe you go more of your speed guys, of, I don't know.
Esteury Ruiz.
No, you're right.
Esteury Ruiz, you kind of pick and choose what category you kind of want to go for, but so.
Yeah, no, you almost convinced me, James. I'll give you that, because I do think
I agree with Casey.
I think outfield's 4th.
Because even after,
go for it. I think what makes it shallower for me is because you have to have 3 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because like fair. Shortstop,
that's the only thing.
You can have 1 or 2 depending on who you use in your utility slot. But if you have a shortstop and a middle infielder, you get 1 or 2 guys. And then, because like when you look at outfield, you really have to look at like the top 30 guys to really look at who's going to be in the outfield. With shortstop, third base, you can look at like the top 10 to 15 and say, these are going to be guys on rosters.
Yeah.
At least for leagues like ours that are a little shallower, not so much with like a 15-team league, but if you're in an 8 or a 10 league, you can look at the top 10 to 15 guys and say, these guys are going to play. Yeah. So I would say 30? Either shortstop or third base. I would say shortstop or third base should be 3 because of that reason.
Third base is third, yeah.
Third base, I'll take Third base and outfield were interchangeable for me. I think outfield just because there's more options, but third base and outfield I think are kind of close.
I think shortstop, especially this year.
I think it's
and
slim,
this is just.
dude.
I think there's so many prospects. Like for example, what's the guy for Tampa Bay coming up? Like
Junior.
He's not. Like you got Jackson Holiday, Chirrio. I think those are quote unquote top guys at shortstop, but they haven't proven
Chirrio plays
themselves.
outfield. Yeah, Jackson Chirrio plays outfield.
Who's their shortstop?
Well, there's another thing in our league is if he plays like 5 or 6 games at that position, it's on his position or thing, or it's on his.
That's any Yahoo. We're a Yahoo league, so that's any Yahoo. He'll gain the eligibility.
But like
I would say shortstop's deeper than third.
I
agree. Because I think so too.
Because third base, you look at it, you got your Austin Riley, Jose Ramirez, Devers, Machado, Arenado, and then Bregman, kind of, and then your next best guy is Josh Young.
Yeah.
So I would say third base is shallower than shortstop. Because shortstop, you got a good bit of guys
you can take you can take a Xander Bogaerts in I think almost the 13th, 15th round, and still be pretty solidified with that.
Whatever, I'm an idiot.
Especially depending on
they don't know what we've been doing.
Guys like the 15th ranked guy is Anthony Volpe, who went 2020 last year.
Yeah,
so I'm sensitive.
Yeah,
he may not be your. He may not be your number one, but he could be your middle infielder. Sorry, Casey.
Right. No, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry.
Let's apologize. You're going through a traumatic time right now.
What a fire!
What to think? Let me speak. I don't know how much longer I have.
I'm running for my life.
Smoke's getting closer.
Anyways, I'm right there with you, Thomas. I think shortstop, third base, and then I'm sorry, James, but I would put outfield as the shallowest.
Dead last?
I really would, just because second base. When I'm looking at second base, you can take a second baseman. Yes, there might not be the household names and stuff, but when you're looking at second base, they're very keen on having one or two low categories that they're excellent at, except for a Jose Altuve, he's going to give you the speed, the power, all that kind of stuff. But, the Ozzie Albies as well, Mookie Betts. I mean, obviously we're going to be looking at Mookie Betts now as a second fielder this year. Marcus Semien, average guy, but then you have the Luis Arrazes,
Nico Horner.
They're like the back end, can still
10th,
get you
11th
those
round.
Points. Yeah, Luis Arraez is like that borderline. You take a chance on him because he's really only a one category kind of guy.
Yeah, but
I know we're strictly a points, even though we're only a points based league and not categories. I mean, you got to think in our league, you get more points by extra base hits, home runs, stolen bases. Luis Arraez just doesn't steal those bases.
Gets on base though.
His RBI still isn't that big. Honestly, I mean,
he's getting 2 hits a day.
Yeah, at least
he does,
and he doesn't strike out.
I think second base is a position where for example, my team, I like to have. So, for example, we'll go. Kyle Schwarber is a bopper, right? Mm-hmm. I'll put him in my utility, but to kind of in my head to kind of
even it out,
I'll get a guy like Arraez, to put in my corner infielder, middle infield slot. But so I agree, Casey. Because we do have a corner infielder and a middle infielder as a slot as well. So I think it all depends on what you really want. I mean,
I think to me it all depends on who you get in the first round. So for me, if I get an Acuna or Judge, I think my outfield is above everyone else's. With let's say Judge with home runs, Acuna with everything possible. So I could wait later rounds and get, let's say, Yoshi in the 18th to 20th, to where he could be a solid guy, to where he'd get on base, not a lot of strikeouts. Huh?
Yoshi?
For the Red Sox.
Yamamoto?
No,
Yoshi
for Boston.
Oh, Yoshida.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
I was thinking Yoshinobu.
Nah. But no, he could be the guy, because I even had him last year, and he had a grand slam here and there. He got on base. He'd have those 17 to 15 point games. Exactly. Yeah. He'd find a way to get on base.
He's a great Yeah, he's a great guy to put in as your number 3 outfielder.
exactly.
Him, Teoscar, Hernandez, they're kind of like in that same realm. I think Teoscar, has a better year than he did last year, especially with that lineup
Especially with the
around him.
Dodgers, yeah.
And so that's
Down
why
in the ravine.
I think I agree with Alpha being 4 is because I think you only need because like you said, I think you need a third guy to just kind of keep you afloat, if that makes sense. Like I think you need 2 stellar guys. So if you can get, I'll go like Acuna, and then I think Brian Reynolds is going to have a great year this year.
Ooh.
So if you can have him at your 2, and then have a guy like Yoshi or me and Case we were talking about earlier, say Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like so, I think that's a deep. I just think when you have that many options, I think it's a deeper class.
Ooh, I'd love.
That's fair. Yeah,
That's fair.
Don't
So
don't
you're
worry about this.
saying
Don't worry about
we got starting pitcher 1, first base 2. We agreed on shortstop at 3. Is everybody on board with that?
I'm
and
okay
then
with shortstop.
I guess so.
third base
No.
4.
We said third base.
Third base, yeah, third.
Yeah.
I think third base is 3.
So
Third
then
base
we're
is
shortstop.
three.
Shortstop
Shortstop
4.
is 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with it. Yeah, outfield 5.
Outfield 5.
Yeah,
Outfield
outfield 5. Second base maybe 6.
Yeah.
All I know is
second
relief
base.
pitching because coming from experience last year when I got screwed, relief pitching is slim.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like you have maybe
5,
maybe 8. Outside, I mean, I was gonna say
like
8.
so,
just
okay,
to
so
be
like
8 to 10.
one for
total
each.
solidified.
But
Okay.
like then, like as Casey last year picked, he was the last pick of the draft. He picked Josh Hader and Emmanuel Class A. So that's 2 of them right there. So
now we get Edwin Diaz
I
this
mean,
year.
you just have slim pickings, and so many teams now aren't. Like you almost have to just guess.
Yeah.
Oh, who
A lot of
like
teams are-
who's
who's
the
he gonna
Tampa
be?
Rays going to use today?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. A lot of
Well,
teams are
also
going by committee.
Yeah.
Also, too, I think something about, Josh Hader had a great year last year. He really did. Even though from a fantasy perspective, he didn't have the points. He wasn't obviously the number 1 reliever like I drafted him as or anything like that. But when he was put into the game, he did his job. I mean, I think you can count on one hand, maybe 2 hands, maybe it was 2 hands, how many blown saves he had. But Class A was your number 1 saves leader. But
he
he,
everything.
every single game he went out there, every single game he went out there.
You're like
He blew 12 saves last year.
Yeah.
No,
Who did?
grief.
Josh Hader?
No,
Class A.
Class A.
Yeah, Class A. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, do you take a guy that's going to get your opportunities? And yes, Class A, I think he's still a top 3, maybe top 5 guy.
Definitely.
But you got to worry about with them being used that much. How is that going to play into effective? Are they going to blow more saves? It's feast or famine when it comes to relief pitchers.
Because I was like for probably the first third of the season, I had AJ Minter, who just got me holds.
Yeah,
like, that's all
and
he
was
got.
solid.
But he pitched all the time.
Yeah.
So like he kind of kept me. He didn't really keep me afloat, but like that was my best option because I didn't have any. Later on, I picked up because Andres Munoz came back and stuff, but Paul Sewald came on to the.
Yeah, you wanted Alzolay last year, right?
Hauser?
No, for the Cubs.
Alzolay. Cubs.
Oh,
Albert.
Alzolay.
Yeah. This close. I got him right before you.
Yeah.
Oh, another scumbag move by James last year. Shocker.
One thing I do think is worth mentioning about the reliever position is because a lot of times it really depends on the team just in general.
Yeah.
Like if they're winning games or not. Because like you look at a guy like Ryan Helsley, solid reliever.
Yes.
Throws cheese. Got 14 saves last year because he was stuck on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So it's like
and he was
you
hurt
could
a lot.
have a guy who's really good, but he's just stuck on a bad team, or you somehow end up with a guy like David Bednar who's on the Pirates and has 39 saves. So it's like you really kind of play the toss up of like, do you go for a good team or do you go for a good pitcher? And I think that kind of can limit, or even like Carlos Estevez was kind of a sneaky pickup for me last year, and he got 31 saves with the Angels.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. But also wanted to side note, the leader of blown saves last year was Class A. Second place was AJ Puck for the Marlins. So sorry, James.
He lost his spot already. He done.
For sure.
He gone.
He gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all like I said. It all depends on how you want to draft and like how you want to. But we're just trying to help out with like the make you think about some things like maybe wait a couple rounds for either Nico, because I think I love Nico Horner. Just like I love Dansby Swanson. I love their games.
Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
So you can wait till later to draft a second baseman or middle of fair, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, anybody. There's
Yeah.
you can get a good player depending on how you're drafting and how everybody
First
else
couple
is drafting.
rounds.
You know,
Yeah.
I think we can sit here and do mock drafts all we want. We can sit here and make notes all we want. You know, but when it
James
comes to
Fielder
that,
comes in.
when it comes to that time of we're sitting down and we're actually drafting, I mean, you got to be flexible.
All your notes
Oh
are
my
out the
gosh,
door.
yeah, out the door.
Yeah.
Like who's available? Who can I look at that I can say, you know what, at this point,
Trust
this
him.
would be a good steal. You know,
Put me in, coach.
but yeah.
Yeah, and I think in deeper leagues also, like 8 to 10, you can kind of be a little more flexible. But in deeper leagues, you really got to look at, okay, what positions am I selling out for?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What do I
A lot of
need?
times, like for me, I think this year, even in just our 8-man league, I'm just kind of selling out on second base and saying,
Yeah.
I'll just get my second baseman
Yeah.
in the last round, like figure it out and just go
Yeah.
after the
do
deeper
that.
positions
do
that are
that.
better.
Please
Go for it.
Because
Yeah.
I'd rather
I'll
have
take
a
Ozzy.
top tier
I'm picking my
outfielder
second
than
baseman in the third round.
okay, well, there's 3 good second basemen, and then the rest are just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Suck it, loser.
Yeah, I'd say 3 to
but
5.
I
Other
think
than that,
when it comes to draft strategy, especially if you're in a deep league, you kind of have to pick and choose. All right,
Yeah.
who are your main targets, and then kind of
branch
figure
off
out the rest.
And who
So-
we could. Like, I feel like every year except for the year I didn't draft, I choose I draft the best team, and it just never
you never win.
about 4 weeks into it, James's team is completely gone.
What do you
And
mean?
it's just pitchers.
I'm a dog. Look, per
Maybe
rules.
it's not the players.
Yeah. Maybe it's
Maybe
the
it's
the
user.
manager.
Maybe it's the GM. Kale, maybe you need to go to look in the mirror
Never.
and reflect.
Maybe Kevin Cash
If I can
is the
find you're
problem.
big enough.
Yeah, Kevin Cash is the problem.
is the
There's no
problem.
if about that.
He is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. I will quit on the spot if you ever compare me to Kevin Cash.
Hey, you always have a good team, and you never really do much with it.
Yeah, sheesh.
Eat.
Kind of sounds like the Tampa Bay Rays.
When it comes
Yeah,
to the
but
playoffs, no
On
offense.
paper, we don't look good. On paper, we don't look good. Cale,
Exactly.
he always looks good on paper.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work out.
Thanks,
so.
Casey.
Well,
Never look good in real life.
Rays just have
But
a
on
way
paper, I
of
look dang
making
good.
players good somehow.
Yep.
It's the
That's our
trust.
system.
They figure out people with X-ray vision.
We'll see. Anyways,
Anyways.
let's get into
Buys and
Yeah.
sells.
some buyers and sellers.
No, James goes first.
I'll go first.
Yeah, we have three. We have 3 of each
Oh, I did 4.
of guys who were kind of buying into this fantasy season, and also for the selling, who's kind of going high, but who we don't really have a lot of confidence in this year, and
Yeah.
basically selling. So,
Yeah.
James, how about you kick us off there, and what you
Doing
got?
buys first
Who
or
you
both?
buying?
Both.
Why don't we just do all buys
Okay,
and then
okay,
we'll
yeah,
go
all
around?
buys, yeah.
Buys?
Yeah, let's
There you
do
go.
all buys first.
All right, so I did
Okay.
4 to where I just threw one in at the buy. See, that's awesome. All right, so the first buy I have, just because I just like this pick this year, just because he's ranked so low this year, is Arenado. He had a down year last year, but since he's so low, I can wait, and I could probably grab him in the, I'd say 8th or 9th round. But
So an old guy. Wow.
I agree.
yeah, but dude,
Yeah, I think that's
he's
I think
not
that's a
that
good
old.
pick.
He ain't old like
That was
Goldschmidt.
shout out to James because he said that Paul Goldschmidt was a top 5 first baseman.
No, he may be 5 or 6, in my opinion. But beside the point.
Shut up. Who's next?
Another
Yeah.
breakout guy that I got is have late in the year is definitely Cole Reagans. The dude balled out near the end of the year. I think Kansas City had a lot of ads this year to where they're in games and actually winning games. The dude's K9 rate, I think, was like 10 or 11 to finish the year. So I see him bouncing off, even having a great year. Even if he doesn't get a lot of wins. I mean, like I said, I think KC gets more wins because of the ads they got. But I think he's a huge late steal in the draft. For second base, I guess Thomas's doesn't reflect to you because you're getting him in the last pick. But I'm going Luis Arraez. I know he doesn't get a lot of points, like Casey said, not a lot of home runs, stuff like that. But the dude could hit for the cycle. The dude can hit the occasional home run. The dude will get 2 hits a game, and the dude won't strike out or hit in the double play. I think there was a stat last year. I think he hit in the 3 double plays all year. Maybe it went up
That's
more.
just false because I'm telling you, he hit into 3 double plays in 1 week. And I traded his tail.
It all happened in 1 week.
Hey, you had him. Maybe it's you. But no, the dude's gonna put
It's
points
the
on the board.
manager. What are we talking about?
The Lord hates me. He knows this has become my idol.
And then one more that I
Could
just
be.
added
Trial
just
by fire.
cause. The one more I just added just cause is Byron Buxton. He's been hurt last couple of
listed
years,
before, yeah.
and I think because he's going to go late. In the mock drafts I've been doing, he hasn't been drafted.
Oh yeah.
Maybe in the 24th and 25th. I could
Let's just
see.
not say his name anymore. How about that?
I mean, he's played like 60 games the last 3 years combined.
If you can get him in the
He did say
24th,
that-
25th,
He's an animal.
he's an animal.
He did say that he's planning on coming back and playing the outfield this year.
I did
as
too.
well. Instead of strictly DH.
I see him being
We'll see.
very suspect in a late
Let's see
round
what the
pick.
twins. Let's see what the Twins allow him to do.
All right, Cale,
Anyways,
take me away.
Cale, who are you
Alright.
buying?
Some of buys. This is kind of a not really a sneaky, but he plays for Detroit, so nobody really thinks about him. I think Riley Green's gonna have a good year.
Ooh.
Love his swing. Love his makeup. And I just for some reason I like Detroit. I think AJ Hinch is a good manager. I just think they're a good organization now. Next,
I don't like it.
is I think Anthony Volpe, kind of the same thing. I've read a ton of articles about like how he is just a workhorse, and he's putting in the work, and he's kind of. I mean, I'm not comparing him to Derek Jeter, but they say like his makeup and like how he goes about the game is very similar. He's just a workhorse.
Yeah.
And
I agree with Volpe. I'm high on him as well, Cale.
Yeah.
I mean, he went 2020 last year. Yeah, his batting average was 220 itself. But, I mean, with that lineup, you got to think that that's going to get better a little bit. Another year in the bigs, it's going to be a little bit easier, you know. And he really uses that short porch to his benefit a lot. A lot of his home runs really were like getting beat on fastballs, just flicking them out to right field. And then, I mean, the speed is there too. I think he has the ability of going 20-30 this year for sure. Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
His swing reminds me of, and this is a weird, like Chas McCormick. Chas McCormick has that kind of like just straight right center. Yeah. I just like it. And like you said, I think the lefties totally revamped that entire lineup. Even the guy like Verdugo. I'm big on Verdugo. I like him. I'm not saying he's a top 10 outfielder, but I'm just saying like for that lineup, I love him. And then the next one is this guy is just you want to talk about a StatCast machine, Nolan Jones, and he's in Colorado. He plays everywhere on the field. Outfield, plays first base. He threw like 103 out from the outfield last year. I mean, I know that doesn't matter in fantasy.
That's zero fantasy.
I just think he's going to be I think he's going to have a good year this year.
You can see that. Especially
A lot of opportunity. Yeah.
The Mile High. I could see that. Him taking over like a CJ Crone power spot. No, I can see that big time.
I mean, I think he can because who was the McMahon? Was it?
Yeah.
Ryan McMahon.
I mean, because you had LeMahieu, McMahon, and I think now it's Nolan Jones. It's going to take over for a couple of years.
Oh, I like that.
All right, Thomas, Casey.
Casey,
Thomas,
you
you
go
got
first.
Oh, I got it though.
The least of these. Wow, we're such a Christian crew.
So buying, I got 3. I will also go the second base route, and I will also stick with the Yankees. I will go Gleyber Torres. Again, he's still really young. I know he's been in the league for a while. I think
he 26?
He's going to his like 26, 27 year, and I mean that's usually when we start seeing like the prime ages for a lot of these players.
Yeah.
So I'm high on him this year. I think he's a great late round pick. And to Thomas's point, you know, even though second base is kind of slim, I think he's a great fill-in guy to just, you know, he's going to hit you like 270 or so. I think that lineup and the Yankees, you know, is going to look a little bit better as well. So expecting bigger things out of him. Next guy is, I know he's kind of high on like the draft boards as far as like projections, but still really high on him with Tariq Skubal. Really big K rate to the point, you lefty. Know, big lefty. The Central isn't too competitive. I think the Tigers, you know, might still be there at year end. But I expect some pretty big things. I think he could be like a Tyler Glasnow if he can stay healthy with the big K rate and all that kind of stuff. And then the last guy is Johan Duran. Closers, to y'all's point, you know, I think is a very slim it can be slim, I should say, but I think Johan Duran, I mean, he's just got such electric stuff, and he is absolutely disgusting. I think the Twins still make it competitive. I think he can still go for around 28 to 30 saves. He might not want to be your guy that you're counting on as your number one closer, but if you have to stick with him and then get another guy like Seawald, I wouldn't be too disappointed in that. I think he has ability to be the number one option for closers this year. We usually see a closer, kind of that's known, but kind of comes out and breaks out every single year. I think he's kind of the guy this year. But yeah, so those are my three guys. What about you, Thomas?
All right, I'm going to start out with one that I wish we got a full season of last year, but O'Neal Cruz. I think looking back at 2022, he had a big strikeout season, had struck out over 100 times. But I just like his projectability. I like the tools he has, the speed, the power. If he can hit 250, 260 and hit 30 home runs, I'm going to take him every time, because I think and the injury last year was just kind of a freak injury. It was just
that home plate,
played the play, got caught in an awkward move, and then broke his ankle. It wasn't like an arm injury. It wasn't like a thing that injury. Most guys are just going to be repetitively injuring. So I really like O'Neal Cruz as my first pick to buy. And he's one of those guys that you can kind of pick up later in rounds, or even have him as your middle infielder instead of your starting shortstops. Not so much later as in like past the 10th round, but you could pick him up as your starting shortstop in the 7th, 8th round. So my second pick, I'm going to go to Tristan Casas from the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
I think he is one of the best young first basemen we have in the league. I think he has a little bit of an advantage playing in Fenway. Pretty good park for him. I like him as far as power numbers. He hits pretty well, hit 263 last year, drove in a good bit of runs. So I really like Tristan Casas as a kind of a backup first baseman or corner infield slot, or even just a utility guy if you need an extra bat. So I don't think he's a bad option either. And then I'm going to follow in Casey's footsteps and go closer for my last one. I think Andres Munoz is going to be a great option especially for a deeper league to go with, because one, he was kind of stuck behind Seawald most of last year until the trade deadline. And then after Seawald got traded, he got 13 saves in the last 2 months. So pretty solid, pretty good option. I like his stuff. He's gross. He's got really good K rates and things like that. So I think he's going to be a good option.
I like that.
So that's who I'm buying.
All right.
So if we want to jump into who's selling,
I'll start with
James,
Sal.
who you got? Ooh,
I'm starting with Sal.
All right, go.
the big man.
Yeah, I'll go after you. That'll be easy. He's going to be cold as heck.
Ellie De La Cruz, I'm selling.
Ooh, I like that.
Is he a freak of nature? Yes. And could he go off, and could I be completely wrong?
Absolutely.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, 100%.
But
happened before.
There's just too much. Like it's kind of the same but different with O'Neal Cruz, because I think Ellie got so much hype last year that he's sort of feeling himself. And I think he's going to struggle this year.
I like that.
With the swing and miss, with everyday play. It's just hard because he only played 70, 80 games last year.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna have a good year, but not nowhere near the hype that everybody's giving him. The next one, I hated to do it because I do like this guy. I think Lane Thomas is gonna have a down year. And two, I think they're gonna bring up guys like Dylan Cruz, the huge guy. I never remember his name, but another prospect for them. I think it's just gonna be tough for him to get some at bats later on in the year. And he just had such a kind of a one-off year last year. He's kind of always been like a fourth outfielder type of player, and last year he just went off. This next one, I want to get. Oh shoot! Hold on.
Easy.
My headphones unplugged. I got so excited. I want to get real close. Okay. I want to say this with my chest.
George Kirby.
Ooh.
I hope he doesn't win a game this year. I will never
Why is
have
that,
him
Cale?
win
Why
a
is
game.
that, Cale? Remind us.
Do tell.
You tell.
My feelings are hurt, and I just don't think whatever.
I don't even remember what he said last year.
It was about going into like the ninth
It was
inning.
when
He
he's at
he was
like
feeling
90
tired
pitches or something.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
basically Josh Hader.
he said
My arm hurts.
he said he should have went out for the seventh inning.
Now, after Tim Wakefield, RIP, passed away, he threw one of the nastiest knuckleballs I've ever seen. But
Still
character
a sell.
just through the basement. No character, no morals. Terrible human being. I'm just kidding, George. Sure, you're a good guy, but I had to push on myself. Yeah, get away from me. Never want to see your face again.
All right, my turn. All right, so I don't know why they have this dude so high. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. He had a solid, good, maybe a month. Maybe allegedly a good month. But Royce Lewis should not be. Thank you, Cale. Thank you. Should not be that high on your board.
That was for the 6 grand slams he hit, not you, James.
If I'm drafting, don't get me wrong. I've won 3 straight years, so you should tune in to whatever I'm saying.
Not off of your draft.
Still coming out in victory at the end.
Straight.
Beside the point. If you want to pick
Scamming
Ray
trees.
Lewis, go for it. Or Royce Lewis, go for it. But
Ray Lewis. If you want to pick a middle linebacker to absolutely destroy the hole, destroy that running back, he's your guy.
He comes up with big hits and big time moments. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's gonna preach to you, then freaking send you into the dirt 6 feet under.
But no, you can wait for a third baseman behind Royce Lewis. That is just my opinion. It pains me to say the second one, but as a Marlins fan, I've seen him play the last couple of years, and just with the injuries, just with him, I kind of Jazz Chisholm, yeah. Cale said it, but he reminds me kind of like
I remember using it. I apologize.
he reminds me kind of like an Ellie, to where it's a lot of swing and misses. It's where it's a lot of height, but it's not all there, in my opinion. I think we trade him at the deadline, and if he does get traded, then he may go to a contender and may turn into something big. I don't know if it's the Marlins holding him back, but Atlanta would be a spot for him. But but that would be another sell that I'm thinking about. And then for my third sell, I'm going to go reliever, and I'm going to say Alexis Diaz. I'm going to say he saved me the championship last year. If you guys don't remember, Thomas traded for him. And to end the season, he ended with negative 28 points, I believe. And I think I won by like 14. So with him, I don't know if it's with his brother coming back or whatever, but I don't think the Reds will be as high next year. I mean, they may be pretty good, but
He said, "I'm the captain."
No.
But
Came out to the trumpets and blew a save.
Exactly. Alexis Diaz, I ain't touching him this year. But Casey, take it away.
I think those are fair. I have some different opinions, but that's neither here nor there.
All right. So that's what I take.
My first sell, and again, it's going to go against you, James, because you had him as a buyer.
Ooh.
I have Cole Reagans as a sell.
Then don't have to worry about you.
Cole Reagans had a 6 ERA with Texas
as a starter.
Yes. Had a 6 ERA, just really wasn't there. And yes, did he turn it around when he went to Kansas City? Yes,
in the bullpen.
And do I expect him to really keep that up? I don't. He's got some nasty stuff. He's got some heat and everything. But they are projecting him as their ace for their roles.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's
disrespectful.
Scary, you know?
To who?
Yeah.
But who do they have better than him?
Lugo? Waka?
Kyle Wright's still hurt?
Zach Greinke?
Who cares? I'll take Kyle Wright hurt over Cole Reagans as a starter.
I agree.
There's
some
I don't know if
guys.
he's
as an ace?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
to me, Cole Reagans, I just don't see him having the same last. And you want to talk about a guy having one good month?
True.
There you go.
But
James, Royce Lewis was at least a top prospect. Has done great in the minors.
He's the number one overall pick.
Number one overall pick. Yes, he's had injury history and stuff, but Royce Lewis I think he's a real deal. Cole Reagans, I just cannot get behind him this year.
But the one thing I will say is, yes, he did have and I don't know what his ERA was, but if he did have a 6 ERA with the Rangers, their division is stacked. With him going to the Royals, yes, he's playing not so good teams in the Central, so I
Fair
think
point.
he'll be improved, like you said, with Skubal. So I think he may not be, yes, he may not be an ace, but he may be an ace on the Royals. With, I mean, yeah, they got Walker, they got Lugo, they got Wright.
Ever heard of pickle legend Jordan Lyles?
Yeah, they're number 5.
Michael Waka, Seth Lugo, Brady Singer. I like him, even
Well,
though
I
he
like Singer.
crapped the
Was
bed in the
terrible
WBC.
World
The
Baseball
letter
Classic.
he wrote to his parents still gets me, so.
Yeah.
All right. So next on my list, had a great season last year. I really do not believe in the organization. I don't believe he'll stay healthy again. Luis Robert.
Ooh,
Because
yes.
he is.
Oh, I should have known. Should have known when you said you hated the organization.
I don't hate the organization. I just don't believe in what they're trying to do over there.
No.
It's a mess right now.
It is.
Luis Robert.
A 4A team this year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, just to me, that team and that organization is very selfish. And yes, Luis Robert was probably the only highlight of the season last year, even with Dylan Cease on the team. I just think he gets wrapped up in the whole selfishness thing and just doesn't have a great year this year. But so
Real quick, Casey.
I'm just down on him. I'm just down on him because of how high they have him going right now. But yeah,
He got hurt in the home run derby.
exactly my point. Exactly. So yeah, can never trust him. But
No.
and lastly, hot take: Devin Williams, I think, has a down year. He is my sell this year. Do I think he has a good year? I think he does. I think he has a good year, but they have him going as the number 1 closing pitcher this year, and a lot of mock drafts and a lot of rankings and everything. To me, he's just not that number 1 guy. The Brewers system, again, that organization is looking a little iffy. They make moves to look like they're trying to buy at the
Reese Hoskins.
but then they sell their big guys, So it's like they're trying to do a save money, live better, kind of thing. But they're not Walmart, So it's like
They're kind of like the Angels organization. All show, no dough.
No dough.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I believe in Devin Williams. His walk rate is really high.
It is.
That's a big concern for me.
That changeup's nasty though.
So I mean, he's got some of the nastiest stuff. I just don't think he has the same year as he did last year, and I don't think he's the number 1 closer. I still take Hader. I still take Edwin Diaz over him. I still probably take Clase over him as well.
Yeah.
So
Take Iglesias, baby. Ricel.
Not like
and he's last. Anyways, Thomas,
You think that?
finish this up.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this out.
Close us out.
Please.
Give us some bang.
My first sell is
Don't care.
CJ. Okay. Hey, we were all respectful for you, so let's show the same respect.
Never. 6'5",
I'm gonna go with CJ Abrams with my first sell.
Yep, he was on my list.
Because I think he still has to develop. I think he's got like 1 or 2 more years for him to really put himself as, because a lot of fantasy sites are listing him as a top 5 shortstop, which I wholeheartedly disagree. I mean, my man hit 245 last year with 18 home runs and 60 RBIs. Granted, he's on the Nationals, but I still think he's got tools that need to develop. Like, if he can get over 20 home runs and get up to 80 RBIs, all right, fine. I was wrong. He does have the stolen base tool.
Mhm.
So he had 47 stolen bases last year, which is really good. However, I don't know if he's going to repeat that, and I really just don't believe in him overall. I think he got traded. When he got traded from San Diego, I think they pulled him up too quick. He really needed to stay in AAA or AA, wherever he was, to continue to develop, get more at-bats, and then come up. But I think Washington rushed him once they got him in from the Soto trade. So I'm selling on CJ Abrams. I think he'll be maybe a good backup option or waiver pick throughout the year, but I don't think he's worth
It's like
the
a
draft.
utility.
He's got to earn it.
Yeah.
He really does. My next pick is a little spicy. I'm saying Tyler Glasnow.
Ooh.
Thank you.
I am selling Tyler Glass now because my man might make 10 starts this year. Casey, I do agree
10
with
starts
you.
against the Braves, and he's going to whoop their butt every single time.
Whoop their butt. So funny. I do agree with Casey. I do agree with you when you say if he's healthy, he's a top 5 pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
He's got great stuff. He can't go more than 4 innings, and he can't be on the field more than 10 starts.
4 innings?
He just does not
Line
stay
5.
healthy enough to be worth as high as he's going on draft boards.
And there's
Agreed.
one thing:
He's a
I'll take
18th round pick for me.
Dave Roberts is going.
Oh,
with
wow.
how
Oh
little he
my.
plays.
Dave Roberts will hold him back. Knowing him and how he handles his pitchers, I agree with Thomas.
100%.
As an 18th rounder.
Okay,
though.
18th round is kind of a
rounder
stretch.
is-
He'll be gone by the 18th.
He is not
18
worth
is
a
my
top
favorite
10
number.
pick.
Let's not disrespect it.
He'll be
okay?
gone by the 18th.
Okay,
but
okay. He is not worth a top 10 pick when you
Yeah.
could be getting guys who are gonna pitch the whole year and get you good
and
numbers.
could get you complete games. Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly.
Max Fried or Tyler Glass now, Casey?
Who would I rather have on my team? Both
In your fantasy
if they're
team.
both healthy. If they're both healthy.
Well, just think versus
If they're both healthy.
what could
Say it.
happen.
Okay, in a real
Yeah, what
world,
could happen.
because they're not.
Is health out of the question?
Well, yeah, they
No,
could get.
it's not. Health is in the
they
question.
could get hurt.
Health is in
Yeah.
the question. Strider. I'm taking
He
Strider.
said Freed.
Wait,
Okay.
you said Freed, but
You
okay.
idiot.
Oh, he said Freed?
He said Freed.
I'm taking Cole.
I take Max Fried.
Between the two of them.
Strider.
Anyways,
Neither.
Max Fried's the ace.
Oh my god.
my next pick.
Okay.
Next pick, also similar. Mike Trout.
I don't agree with that.
I'm
Yeah,
selling on
I
Mike
agree
Trout
with that.
for the exact same reason.
Yeah, before
He might get 200 at bats a year.
I hope you saw that.
If he's healthy, he's the best player on earth. But he's not. He hasn't played a full season since like 2019, and that's 5 years.
2024 is
ago now,
his
because
year.
we're old.
Who plays a full season
Yeah.
anymore? It's overrated.
like maybe 7
Yeah,
of them.
only
Anthony Rendon hasn't played since 2019.
that's
That's a
fair.
fat sell.
Which also could be an Angels thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another concern with Trout, and I hate to say it, there's an interview with me, or that not with
Oh,
me.
you
did
did
Eric
Trout.
That I
Didn't invite
watched, and I can't remember who he was talking to, but he was saying, the speed for pitchers
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
in the game
Yeah, I
is
saw
it's
that,
just
yeah.
like he's like it's a lot.
He
New
looked
world.
afraid.
Yeah.
It's a new world, He
He was
really
like,
kind
they're
of
throwing
honestly.
fast. I don't know if I can play
Yeah.
anymore.
He's skilled.
Yeah,
I'm skilled.
he was-
We don't want to step into box.
I want to go back to
Yeah,
New
he-
Jersey.
Yeah, he was like a
Oh,
JV
we don't
kid.
They don't throw the ball there.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
yeah, again, that's not neither here nor there. I mean, I believe in Trout's
100%,
skills and everything like that. But I
And,
mean,
and he kind of screwed us in the World Baseball Classic.
yeah,
Yeah, true.
there's just a.
Harper would have smashed
Not a
it.
chance.
Do I still love? No, Harper would have even joined USA. He'd
Yeah.
probably joined Palestine or
Oh
something.
my
Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
But I can say
You know
Trout
Alex
has.
Bregman is Jewish?
I did.
That's crazy.
That's why I didn't say Alex Bregman. Anyways, Trout has a WBC home run. Harper does
Mhm.
not. That's my point.
Harper has a World Series home run, so Trout
And
does
in
not.
WBC, you play against the best of the best in the whole entire world.
Well, unless you
He plays.
Wait, Mark.
He plays the Braves. Wow, nothing special.
Cakewalk.
Anyways,
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Anyways, that's my picks. I think that's
All right,
going to
love
do
you,
it for
bye.
us
Yes,
here
sir.
at the Sunday League podcast because we're recording on
Who's winning?
Super Bowl,
Sunday.
baby.
Super Bowl Sunday.
49ers.
Mahomes, baby.
I'm going
the
Niners.
Chiefs. Y'all are crazy.
I want Niners, but Chiefs are gonna probably
Yeah.
win. If I was betting,
Yeah, I agree.
If I'm
with
a
you.
Yeah,
betting
I want
Niners.
man,
Took 2 private jets from Japan.
Those-
Oh, climate change is a real problem.
Yep.
anyways,
But here's
okay.
the real question: is what does Usher open his halftime show with?
If it's,
It's
not, if it's
not,
not,
yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It's yeah.
it better
It's
be
gotta be yeah.
confessions part 2.
if it's not,
We'll see.
Hey,
These are my confessions.
and if he does start with confessions, it better be the actual intro of him like
100%.
confessing that he got
Ooh.
another woman pregnant.
He brings R. Kelly out from
He
prison
does the whole
and
phone
sings
call.
"Same Girl."
Does JB join the stage with him? Justin Bieber?
no.
I
Taylor
think so.
Swift might go up as JB.
I think he does.
Hey, Post Malone's gonna be there.
And listen down there.
Anyways,
You know, Posty's gonna be there, right?
Yeah, in the stands.
He's
Need
singing,
to join
bro.
the stage.
He's gonna be on there. I
Easy.
can't wait.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
that's
David.
it. The picks are in. We got to go get the game. It's about 5:50. Game starts at 6:30. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
No idea.
All right. Well, we're gonna go get on it. Appreciate you guys for listening, tuning in. Hope
Yeah.
this helps
Bye.
with your fantasy leagues. We know we're the experts on the topic. If you listen to
Excellent.
anyone, should be us.
We speaking French now, huh?
Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Share the podcast with anybody if you think it helps.
If you think we're idiots, let us
yeah.
know.
Yeah, if you think we're idiots, drop a comment down below. If you think we're
Yeah.
great, drop a comment down below. And on that note, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. That's my line, you idiot.